What's good, Pipinde family? AlliTrades here, and today I'm going to be showing you how we went 4 for 4 on Livestream to catch 35%. This was all taken on my YouTube lives, so if you guys don't already tune into them, make sure that you subscribe right now so you get notified every single time I go live, and let's get right into it. So, for starters, we had this gold trade, which we actually took 2 entries on. Now, as you guys can see, when I got to the charts, the markets looked a little something like this. It was very simple. I went down to my hour. I looked at how price was looking. Went down to my minute 5. Started analyzing, what is price action doing? What I noticed here was we had this order block right here, and then price broke structure over here. And guess what? Price decided to continue structure down. And then it created another order block that it was tapped into. And then guess what? It continued structure again. And price tapped into this order block. So to me, it's quite obvious, right? What is price action doing? It's tapping into these order blocks. When I was on the higher time frame, I saw, hey, we were respecting this right here. And as you guys can see, once we got this break over here, I decided to hop in. And I decided to just tuck my stops right here for 29 points. Actually, I must have entered right about here because my stops were just here for 29 points. And I was trying to target this rejection order block resting down here. So as you guys can see, price does its thing right there, comes back to retest. And when we retested, I actually really liked how the minute 1 came in, consolidated a bit, and then broke under. And so I decided to take another entry on it with a stop just right here and the same exact target. And as you guys can see, price does its thing. It consolidates for a while, but ultimately we get this nice push downwards and we smash take profits. I was in 2% on each one of these trades. And as you guys can see, we went 1 to 3 and 1 to 3 essentially on both of them, right? So 1 to 2.5 on both. That was 5% right there, but we were 4% risked. Beautiful. Up next, we had GBPUSD, which I ended up taking during London. And pretty much I saw, right, GU has been moving very bullish. And we had this expansion right here, this gigantic expansion with this order block resting over here. So I went down my time frames and found out what time frame were we touching on. So we're actually touching the order block on the minute 1. As you guys can see here, we had this order block over here. Price action decided to touch here, break structure, and this is touching the minute 1 order block to the left, as you guys can see. So we tapped into there. Then price decided to break structure, and from there what I decided to do was enter just on this little pullback over here because I felt like, hey, we swept this and we were giving some sort of bullish momentum. So once we swept under this candle and this closed like this, I hopped in, which was a little early because you guys can see if I would have just set my limits down here, I would have caught an even better risk to reward ratio. But I was impatient, I'm gonna be honest, and I hopped in right away. So that is, how I took it, and what I should have done better is just been a little more patient. But as you guys can see, price goes all the way up, pulls back, and then goes all the way up and smashes our TP. I got out once I saw this over here because I saw price was consolidating right here, and I decided, hey, you know what? Volume is starting to die down, right? Price action was moving very upwards, and then over here we held. We just literally just consolidated for like 40 minutes or something, and then price started to drop. So to me, that was a red flag, and I didn't want to be in the markets at that point because, as we know, as I've been preaching, you can have the best setup, but if you don't have the volume behind it, you will not hit take profit. And so once we broke right here, I closed out, and you guys can see it reversed all the way. I could have even taken a scale in, but I was already on live for 8 hours. I was extremely tired, and I didn't think it was worth it. So you guys can see this was another great trade, which we caught just about a 1 to 5.5, and I was risked 2% on it, so I caught 11% on that trade. After that, I decided, hey, you know what? NZDUSD is also giving a fantastic setup. As you guys can see here on the hour, we had this expansion, this big move to the upside, and then we had price come back down. And so I started refining my order blocks, and as you guys can see over here, I had my minute 4 order block, which was the lowest time frame we touched on. If you guys look over here, that was our minute 4 order block. And then when price came into our minute 4 order block, it broke structure, and then I waited for another confirmation here because we just so slightly wicked it. And what I noticed is when you just wick, you're susceptible to getting swept. So I waited for just some sort of confirmation here, and as you guys can see, kind of saw this wedge pattern forming over here. So now I have a wedge pattern. We're tapped into our order block on the higher time frame. We're tapped into our lower time frame order block, and now once we broke out this wedge so bullishly, I decided to hop in. As you guys can see, price just absolutely runs to our TP. And the reason why I decided to use this as my take profit level was because we had this nice little fair value gap right here, and the other fair value gap we had was right here. So the only other take profit I would have used would have been to sweep this high, which it looks like just barely got missed, and that's why I played the more conservative take profit right there. But as you guys can see, this setup, it was 6 a.m. just about when we were entering, and I checked. Okay, this took us, 2 hours to all the way 6 hours, right? Because we consolidated for a little bit. But the main drop only took 2 hours to happen, so I figured we had some news coming out in our favor. Or none, I didn't know it was coming out in our favor, but we had some news coming out that day, as you guys can see right here. We had Chicago PMI, and it was expected to be economical shrinking, which is good for the dollar. That means we would get a bearish dollar, which would mean a bullish NZDUSD. Plus, it absolutely lost the expectations. I looked where price was at, and it was priced in perfectly, so I decided to take that chance on it. And as you guys can see, take profit was absolutely smacked. I took this on a 1 to 3.5, but I was 4% risk. This was a 12% gainer right here. And just like that, guys, we absolutely killed it on the charts. I called every single one of these in my signal room, and I'll even show you guys that just to prove it right here. And just to show the most transparent signal room in the world, as you guys can see here, we have my risk right there, the result, my TP, my SL, and my entry. I don't believe in this whole TP 1, 2, 3, 4 thing that they do, because that's just to polish people's records. When you actually trade, you call one take profit and you update them with exactly what you're going to do. Stop loss to break even. Oh, we're floating this much. Oh, I fully closed here. Things like that, so I do this, and a lot of people like telling me, oh, it says edited, but that's because after the signal is hit, I hit edit, and I like to put in my result. As always, I did this on Livestream, so if you guys want to go look at my lives, you'll find it there. I also have my free course out there. If you guys want to learn exactly how I trade, absolutely free, make sure you click the link in the description. Make sure you guys subscribe, because we're absolutely taking over. Happy New Year's, guys, and I hope you guys are ready, because you're either going to be a part of the takeover or you're going to watch it happen, and I'll see you guys there. Peace.